So new today, activity at Nancy Guthrie's home. It included more than just officials and the media. Our cameras today captured pool maintenance underway in the backyard of Nancy Guthrie's home. Earlier this week, a delivery driver accidentally tried to drop off a pizza at the front door, and that prompted a social media statement from the sheriff's department saying in part, quote, "We can't believe we have to say this, but media on scene, please do not order food delivery to a crime scene address." So right now we have Dennis Franks, former FBI supervisory special agent and president of Investigative and Security Global Solutions, standing by. But first, I want to go to Jeff Harp, a former FBI special agent who served on elite hostage rescue teams. Jeff, thanks for joining us. I want to talk to you first about the pool cleaning employees in the backyard. That really kind of seemed odd to me. That was her routine maintenance?
Well, it would seem odd to me that you have an investigation going on and you allow someone to come in that could possibly contaminate some of the crime scene, even though it has been released and brought back. It's just not something I would do until this case got further down the road.
Yeah, that struck out to me as well. I mean, if they're taking pool samples possibly as part of the investigation, it just didn't seem like that. Moving forward, what more are you gathering today from kind of the urgency that the sheriff is saying that the suspect out there should be afraid tonight and every night? Are you thinking that they're inching closer to something?
Well, they're always inching closer to something. They're uncovering something new every single day, and we don't know. You know, this originally started. I said, "Hey, they know 10 things. They've told us 3. Now we know 4. Now we know 5." As this thing progresses, the law enforcement will release information to the public that they think will be useful for them and the public to work jointly on. But other things they won't. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that absolutely they are looking into, and every single night. Yeah, I think the sheriff saying that the subject should be scared, that's without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about time frame, because I know that we all get anxious to hear something. We think an arrest should be made by day 13. But can you put into context that really these cases can sometimes take weeks and months to solve?
Oh my goodness, yeah, they can take a long, long time. You think about some of the previous kidnappings that have taken such a long time, and there may not be press conferences every single day. This is this was a person who had a child that was a famous media person. This is getting a lot of international attention, and so we're hungry to feed for information, and that's just how we are today. We want information now, but we've got to be patient and let this thing work itself out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the FBI increased the reward to $100,000 for information on Nancy Guthrie. We do know that backpack was found at a Walmart. Talk about the process into just trying to match who may have bought that backpack at what store, whether it was in person or online. That seems like quite a task.
Well, it is quite a task, but thank goodness for all of the technology we have today. And you buy something, what do? You scan it across a reader. That reader then records that information into a database. And Walmart's, law enforcement friendly organization. We have retired FBI agents that work in their corporate office. They're working hard to make a determination if that backpack was bought in Tucson, where, if it was in Tucson, was it bought within a reasonable amount, enough time that their video cameras would have captured any footage. This thing is going to take a little time to play out, but they are definitely doing something every single day.
Yeah, appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Jeff Harp. Okay, I want to bring in Dennis Franks, former FBI supervisory special agent and president of Investigative and Security Global Solutions. Dennis, I want to pose this question to you about the FBI's investigation and the sheriff's department. We know evidence has been taken now to Florida versus the FBI's own personal quarters. What do you make of that?
I'm not really sure. I mean, sometimes it might be to expedite things, but I can't really comment. I've heard, comments throughout, even in the law enforcement community, about possible lack of cooperation from the beginning. I don't know that. You hear that sometimes, and it's really not true. This case has just been unusual from the beginning. Just the whole situation, just the demands, the ransom demands, through TV outlets instead of directly to the family. And there may be reasons for that, actually a number of reasons. And the whole thing's been different. And then the images of the intruder just not coinciding, I don't think, with the language in the demand letters or notes that seem more sophisticated And this intruder just was not very sophisticated at all, in my opinion, as far as having any background in this or lack of preparation. It was very clumsy in my opinion, and there were just so many things out of sort. I mean, the holster where it was, I've never seen that before, and it's the wrong holster for that gun. And that's just one thing among others.
Yeah, you bring up the word lack of sophistication, and yet we keep hearing that this is such a baffling case, and right now we're still waiting for a suspect. We had a person of interest, and that didn't pan out. So talk about where the investigation goes right now.
It'll proceed just it has been. It's, the command post is going, they get in leads, they follow leads, they prioritize which leads to follow first, and then they just follow everything. They go talk to people, they analyze video they find, and it could go out further. I mean, they ask for like 2 miles around. It should go further than that. They should just keep combing the area and find any pieces of information they can, any patterns that people have. They could look at their own surveillance cameras footage and see if there's anything that stands out in that vicinity. You see, for example, a white van that passes by, at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Well, and you see it more than once, that's kind of a clue. It's just a number of things. They're going to keep pursuing things, and the evidence will start coming together. And I am confident that there will be resolution at some point, and it may take a while. I mean, as Jeff said, some of these cases take a long time. For example, having worked a serial killer case in Houston, it took probably 2 or 3 months, but he was apprehended and prosecuted, and it was a major command post that operated for that period of time, and a lot of cooperation with various law enforcement agencies. So it's just a matter of time. But this is, again, it's very unusual. This is a different circumstance. It's for a lot of reasons, and it's kind of interesting. It's like I've said one time, it's kind of makes me wish I was back out there on the streets working it myself or in a command post, because I do find this intriguing.
Well, I was going to say you probably are working 24/7 on your own, the way your mind probably works, and your past as a special agent. So can you also answer, is there anything that stands out to you about this particular suspect that we see in that video, anything beyond the holster, the gun holster, how he walked? And do you think there might be someone else inside or working with him?
Well, a few things. I think the eyes were particularly interesting. Of course, they've got the infrared light reflecting off his eyes, but I think just the shape, the stare kind of is interesting. The shape of the eyes, there's something about that. I noticed that there was facial hair above the lips and below the lips too, which is kind of up right below, which is not always the case. Again, people have actually, the guy that was a suspect that they pulled over and searched his house was, I believe based on a tip. But other people are going to recognize something here and there, and obviously the clothing, they're analyzing that, identifying clothing, and just as going out to the Walmarts and looking at records and video is painstaking, but this has been done with even pieces of wire before with bombings, and just identifying the particular wire and nuts and bolts and things like that. So it is possible to identify someone this way. Just we don't know how long.
All right, Dennis Franks, thanks so much. Appreciate your insight, and we'll certainly be talking to you down the road. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Investigators say if you know anything about this case or saw something that could help in the ongoing search for Nancy, reach out to them at 1-800-CALL-FBI.